Hello and welcome back to Pints with Pals. My name's Mike, and joining with me is Jeremy. He's right over there. Say hi, Jeremy.
Hey, Jeremy, what's going on? Wait a minute, I'm Jeremy. Mike.
So today we are going back to a different brewery, a little further south than last week's episode. It is the Drunken Lincoln, Drunk Like Lincoln Brewery.
Oh, you drink like Lincoln?
Drinking like Lincoln. There it is.
Yeah, that's just a Lincoln Brewery for now.
This is a Jeremy brews. He called it a bunny beer, but as you can see by the title, it's a Belgian strong ale.
Yeah, so it's a clone of the De Dole Boskin. I think I say it. Which I think Boskin means like rabbit of the wood or something like that. I'm not sure. It's like a Belgian style. Let's see if there's any hiss.
Mine had a little bit.
Oh, wow.
It didn't.
Mine had a lot. Lots of hiss. You want to go headphones on. So I've not had this in, can't even tell you, 7, 8, 9 months.
Yeah, it's a Easter beer, but from last Easter.
Yep. Well, it is look how crystal clear that is, God.
Yeah,
it's good.
This one's
see me, folks. Oh wow! So last time oh, definitely a lot better than what it was when I first had it. I did not like it at all. Yeah, gross.
that's pretty cool.
So,
it's got a citrusy smell. It's not bad. You scared me with your I'm terrified of that. It's got. So there is there's a little bit of a familiar flavor, but I can't pinpoint it.
So I'm getting a little bit of honey.
Yeah, I think that might be the familiar flavor that I can never pinpoint.
Maybe some herbal notes in a way. Sweeter than I thought it was going to be. On the drier side, which is probably what you want from a.
What was the ABV strong on this one? Do you know?
So I think it's on the bottle. I don't remember.
It's 5.6. It's 5.6.
Yeah, so it's not a true Belgian strong. A Belgian strong should be closer to 8 plus, something like that. So it came a little weak. When I first had it, tasted a lot like wine. Didn't taste like beer at all. That's why I didn't like it. That was gross. I didn't think it was going to age very well. Not much of a head at all. Even though it's been bottle conditioning for a long time. So pretty
yours
well
is clearer than mine.
Wonder if we had chill haze or something.
Don't know. Mine, I just put it in the same time you did today. It's been sitting in my closet. Yeah. Maybe yours has been sitting in a little bit chillier area.
I might have. I'm not. So it's nothing like what I was trying to make at all. I was going to start there. I was going to be honest. That Dole or that Day Dole Boskin, or I'm going to say it. It's a really unique beer. One bottle could run you cheaper than thing is $6 all the way up to $10 a bottle. So, don't know. Like I said, it's not bad for just being a beer. It does have a little bit of alcohol burn to it, which is interesting for being sitting around for so long.
I was thinking that too. My tongue is kind of a little bit. The top of my tongue has a little bit of a burn on it.
Yeah.
It reminds me of
a whole lot.
Yeah, it reminds me of a specific, not a specific brewery, but I think it reminds me of a brewery because I feel like I'm getting. It kind of reminds me of what, what is that? The Hailstorm Brewery kind of smells like.
Right.
So you don't remember the yeast? Do you know the yeast strain?
So I know the yeast that I use. I use the B256.
Yeah, the BE,
which is 256. Which is the Belgian style. No, that's not horrible. Like I said, I have a 6-pack left. I thought for sure I was just gonna pitch them all. I may sip on these.
Yeah, I think that you've done better in your you scared me thinking that this was going to be really bad. But I think
I thought for sure it was going to be.
I think that based on this, I would maybe if I were to do it, I would like try and keep it in like bigger bottles, like the big, huge bottles, and then let it sit for a year essentially.
Right.
But
I'd be curious what it tastes like.
Yeah, I would like to get it to be like the 6.5% to 7% or 8% almost to like kind of get it. How many gallons of beer did you brew?
I made too many. Made 5 gallons of this one.
Did you?
Yeah. Oh, I made a mess. Always making a mess. Always making a mess. So I'm going to be pretty harsh on me because, as I said, I think I'm going to give it a 3.
It reminds me of something we did last season, like one of the like Cougar Baits or one of those ones, not Cougar Bait specifically, but it reminds me of like a blonde ale.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of all over the place. Like, it's not. Like I said, it's nothing on the nose, but I mean, like, if you just smell like the bottle, the yeast, I mean, that's what it smells like. I don't know. It's like, there's no fruity esters. Well,
I get a little bit of the fruity ester, but I definitely get a lot of like honey.
Get nothing.
Yeah, I feel like I get more like honey than anything else. So it kind of reminds me of your blueberry honey ale in a way.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I can smell kind of like blueberries or like like floral. It smells floral.
Maybe
like a floral honey almost. So I
definitely not my finest.
Yeah. Right, and it's a year old, so like at this point you kind of liked it a little bit better. But so what would you? I guess for me, it is. Oh, that's what I was going to go look at. It is very reminiscent of those the beers that we got when we were out in Lexington, or not? Yeah, Lexington. So I feel like it was on par or better than like Cougar Bait, which I gave like a 3.9. So I'm gonna give it a 4. I think I'm gonna give it a 4.
Okay. I have to say I'm harsh on myself. I'm gonna give this one a 3. Like I said, it's better. So I was already in my mind. I was like, the sucker's be like lowest was good. I get like a half a point because it tasted so bad after I made it, and it still could be the yeast. It could have been. Oh, I don't know if I had my. I don't know if I had my temperature control system made then when I made this one. So it could be I got too warm. I don't even know what the temperature range is on that yeast. That's a fair point too. Like it got too hot. What is the temperature?
It doesn't taste like it has any off. Like there's no metallic. Maybe a smidge of metallic.
Oh, I bet you I was warm because the highest that yeast can go is 68.
Oh, yeah.
So well, my basement could have been probably warmer than that. Yeah.
So that's probably why it didn't finish at the. Did it? Well, you don't know where you have no notes on this one, but like if it finished.
Well, the notes I have, it finished at 10:13,
which is a little bit high.
It could have gone down a few more points, but I don't even know if. Let's see if I change this down to say. Let's see if I got the 10:10. What would that have been? So 10:10 would have bumped it almost to 7%.
So, and that could have been your yeast not surviving the temperature potentially because you made it.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I made it right around Easter time, I definitely would have had my heater going on. So probably cooled my basement. So it was probably warmer on the other side where my brewing equipment is, and so I'd use about 70 degrees. And of course, the influx as well, too, because it gets down, I don't know, 64, 65 down here. So you have that fluctuation between 70 and 64 degrees, man. That's a huge swing. Now, granted, like it's not going to stay at that 65 when you set it because the constant temperature of the yeast doing this thing is going to produce off a lot of heat and stuff like that, but it's still a huge drop swing, so. Probably what happened. That's a very simple recipe. Like it's not much to this one at all. We can get that here in a few minutes, but like going to the only thing simpler than this would probably be a smash beer. I would say at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's not much to this at all.
Yeah, I actually got like a bunch of stuff to do my next couple of beers. Most of the time I'm using this Viking Pilsner malt. I think I needed to buy, okay. I should have probably bought like a 50-pound bag of it. Because that's what I'm using for my Kolsch, and I think I'm going to always just have the Kolsch going, or because the last one that I had, I went through, we just kicked the keg in like 2 months, 5 gallons of beer in like 2 months. We had a bunch of people over a bunch of times, but it was nice to have it like kind of sitting and waiting. And now I waited too long and have nothing to put in the keezer. So I'm like, damn it. So I'm probably going to try and brew a couple of beers this weekend. Yeah. So the one other thing,
go for it.
The one other thing I was thinking, it was wondering if you could get like a keg, like a full keg of like a beer, and then like pressure transfer it from like the big keg into the little ones, and then only have like one of those like sitting and waiting. You know what I mean? Like have like a keg full of like some other random beer that you got, but a full or a half or what, or a quarter, a half barrel or a quarter barrel. And then because those are so big, they don't fit very well inside my keezer. I'm wondering if I could take and pour those into like 6 5-gallon ones, or just leave them half full and stuff. I wonder if that would like,
I mean, it'd be a fun experiment, but the only thing I'd be worried about is the oxygen just hanging around.
Right, but it's going to be closed transfer, so I'll fill my 5-gallon ones up with CO2 and then purge them until they're like basically all CO2, and then use CO2 to transfer it from the one to the other, so they would never hit oxygen, I wouldn't think.
So probably your better bet would be this is what I do is I fill my kegs with Star Sands, and then I use the CO2 to push the Star Sands out of it.
Yeah.
So it just fills it all with CO2. So that way I know for sure it's all full of CO2 instead of just like, oh, I've been letting it go for 5 minutes. Is it all CO2 yet? I don't know.
Yeah, CO2 is heavier than air, but if you're pumping it in really quickly, then who knows? But yeah. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that's kind of what I do when I do my close transfers.
I just feel like that seems like a waste of the Star Sand, but I guess that's a better way of doing it. Just like the 1 ounce thing of Star Sand, dump it in there and with 5 gallons, and then you don't have to worry about keeping it sit under pressure and then. So
like you said, could daisy chain them.
I've done that before.
So push the Star Sand into other kegs as you're going.
The issue I've run into is that the kegs that have the dip tube, not dip tube, but the floating dip tubes.
Floating tube.
Those ones don't pull quite as much out, but they say that Star Sand is fine. They said like don't fear the foam. So like if you have like extra stuff, it's not gonna like ruin your beer or anything. In fact, I tried to use outside to, because it was like I have a wheel or a window well outside of my basement window, and I was trying to use that when it was like 30 degrees outside. I was going to use that to basically lager my beer. Well, then it kept going up and down in temperature, and I'm like, well, that's not good, because it was like, I'm like, I don't want that. So when I brought it back in, I had the dip tube in like a sanitizer, but it had cooled off, and when it cooled off, it sucked some sanitizer back into it because it had shrunk in volume, and it sucked a little bit of sanitizer in it, and I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. Oh, I was unhappy. Because
speaking of the Star Sand stuff, there's a gentleman I watched who's like, he's been brewing forever. He's won, I don't know, like a lot of homebrew competitions, and the people were saying, "No, you gotta make sure all that foam's out and stuff like that." It's like, no, you don't. It's human safe. You know, you could drink it. So the proof, he filled up a glass like this and he just slammed it. Like, is that gonna hurt you? Well, I wouldn't do it myself, but
no,
that's what he did. Just to prove a point.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess I could jump into the recipe real quick.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So, what is the recipe?
So this one's 10 pounds of pale ale malt. And then I use 1 pound of carrot pills just for head retention. As you can tell, that didn't work much at all. And then 12 ounces of table sugar. Like, it's a super simple recipe. For boil, I use 1.5 ounces of East King Goldings. And then, like I said earlier, I use that B256, the Belgian style, Abbey style yeast strain or whatever. Then that was it. It was it was an easy brew day. Wasn't hard at all. The whole thing with the sugar, I think we said this before, just make sure you kill the heat before you pour it in. You don't want to scorch it, burn it, and get stuck to the bottom, so none of that.
Right. Did you do you do the same thing with like honey? So you didn't put any honey, they just put table sugar in?
Yeah, just table sugar.
I think that might be the smell. I swear it's got to be something that, because it reminds me of a brewery, a very specific Hailstorm brewery.
You know,
so like I don't know what.
Like, it almost got like a leather kind of smell, but it's not my fingers. I thought it was my hands, maybe. I kind of get like this weird leathery kind of smell.
It's just it's changed since it's warmed up as well. It was better than you had let it on to be. So I guess under promise over deliver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Computer's not working. What the heck? Come on.
So the one you grabbed from Rabbit of the Wood, the nicknamed the Joe, it says the aromas were yeast, grass, honey, spice, and tart fruits. I was like, yeah, I kind of see that.
Right.
It's supposed to be 10% ABV. So did you think that the table sugar was going to kind of boost the ABV to that point?
Yeah, that's what I was kind of hoping on. I guess I might have miscalculated. Maybe I should use like 22 ounces of sugar. I wonder if that would have bumped it up where I wanted it to be. No, even with 22 ounces of sugar, it's only would have given me about 7% beer. So I'm not sure where I messed up on it.
That definitely explains the dryness. I added table sugar to a cider to just boost the ABV. It went from like 6 to like 9.5 or almost 10%. And it was sweet but dry, and I don't understand how. Like, it had like almost, I think it was probably the alcohol burn that kind of just sucks all the moisture out of your mouth, and it makes it feel like a dry. But it was still kind of sweeter than the normal one, so I didn't have to add as much back sweetening.
I think if I were to brew this one again, I can't use much more grain. Maybe I could throw another pound or two in. Probably more table sugars, but what I would do is I'd probably buy more of the beers themselves and just harvest the yeast, because they're all bottle conditioned as well. Like, and just swipe that yeast and just use that and see how it turns out.
That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
I don't think that these ones had that much yeast left in them.
So one of my homebrew buddies, that's what he does. He calls them dredge or dredged beers, I think is what he calls them. Where he just scrapes all the yeast out of the bottom of the beers and just makes whatever beer style he wants with them. And they turn out really, really good. So I just got to buy the equipment to do so. Just keep forgetting to do
it. Baby steps,
yeah. Part-timers.
All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We are trying something a little bit different in the beginning of this, just because we have a lot of beers that we've brewed to get through. So unfortunately, unless you're like my parents, you can't try any of mine. Unless you live near Jeremy, you can barely try any of his. So if you wanted to, you can start brewing and let us know. Let us know how yours turn out. But just kind of let me know if there's a style that you want to see us brew, or a style that you want to for us to dig into. But I want to say
there's a lot out there.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to have a pint with your pals.
Make sure you drink responsibly. Join the Discord. Subscribe. I'm pretty sure our numbers show like anyone else. We probably have a 75 25 split. Like, so 75% of you are not subscribed, but enjoy the content. So just hit the button. Get our algorithm up so we get more people to kind of check this out.
Over there, I think.
It's
Maybe
somewhere.
over here. I don't know.
Down the doodad down there.
do and the DVD-Ds.
Yes, and make sure you join Discord. That's another good spot to go. Sometimes we'll throw up little recipes up there or other interesting videos. But until next time, I hope you all have a great day. Cheers.
Cheers.